am going to give you guys a little suggestion.
Yes.
Don't go to an RV show.
Hey, I'm Rachel.
And I'm Joe.
And we are two crazy campers.
And after losing a combined weight of more than 200 pounds,
we realized we had so much more energy for activities.
Come along with us as we explore the great outdoors.
And join us on a brand new adventure. And this adventure has us standing outside of our current city's namesake, which is Arcadia.
Should I explain what I meant in the beginning of this video?
Oh, that you should never come to an RV show?
So, we're here at the 2025 Florida RV Super Show in Tampa, Florida. And yes, we are brand ambassadors for Alliance RV. However, my wife...
Ooh, that lady.
In the second year in a row, has decided maybe we should upgrade to a new RV.
So we upgraded our truck in order to participate in RV Unplugged.
That was a great, smart financial decision, by the way.
Season 2. Yeah, exactly. If you want to make a good financial decision, you want to upgrade to like a $70,000 truck for the chance to win $25,000.
Yes.
Follow us for more financial planning advice. But now that we have moved to Arcadia, Florida, and have some land, we do not have to stay in a travel trailer because we have more space to
store it.
To store things. And so now we are considering, what if we bumped this thing up to a fifth wheel?
So even though we love Alliance, there might be better things out there.
Yeah.
So we're on the hunt for, and this is going to be a small amount of vehicles that we can look at, a small amount of fifth wheels we can look at, because we are looking at our fifth wheels that we can tow without upgrading our truck. So we have a 2023 F250, so 3/4 ton, and we have just over, it's like 3,090 pounds of payload capacity. A lot of people talk about towing capacity. Towing capacity of your truck means nothing. It really doesn't. That's you're not going to blow up your engine.
Right.
What matters is payload capacity.
Because not blowing up the engine is not the standard.
That doesn't mean you can get up the mountains of Tennessee.
No.
Right? So you have to care about payload capacity. So in order to tow legally, you have to be in towing capacity, but you also have to be in the correct payload capacity. So when it comes to a fifth wheel, your fifth wheel is going to put 15 to 20% of its overall weight, and just always go by GVWR. Don't go by the listed pin weight, because that's based on empty, and it's not going to be empty when you tow it. So look at the GVWR, and then from there, you want 20%, max it out, 20%. That amount of weight is going to go into the bed of your truck. Then you have to add to that the weight of the hitch that you're going to buy. Now we're going to go gooseneck, so that really doesn't apply for us. Weight of the passengers, the weight of any cargo you put in your bed, back seat, and any pets you bring. So we have to have all of that under 3,000 pounds. Preferably, I'd like to be somewhere around 2,900 pounds to give me that little safety margin. We also want to be under 35 feet. These are all the things we're looking for, under 35 feet, so that we can get into state and also, national parks. And we prefer to find something that has an area in the back that we can turn into an office. So we're going to take a look at the Arcadia 25 SRD.
Okay, so we're going in through the front door, and the first thing that we see is going to be, or actually we're in the back door, right? But it's the door, is a dinette. And so this space is the space that we would probably repurpose for an office area. I'm going to say right now, I think it is beautiful that you have the dinette where you can take advantage of all of the extra windows that you usually get in a fifth wheel. But I'm going to say right away, not a super fan of the dinette where you kind of get, pinned in the back. Now, I know you can move this forward, so that's a good thing, because a lot of times they're fixed and you can't move them.
Now, I'm going to say right off the bat, because the Alliance that we looked at We have to make some modifications to make an office. It's a bunkhouse.
Yep.
This one, we would not have to really modify because because that table moves, if you push it out as I film you,
yep,
we can have a camera right on there and you can sit with the back window being the background of our videos.
Beautiful.
So you have a dinette, you don't lose your dining area, and you have a place that you can do your work.
That's a plus.
So that might possibly work.
Okay, so we're gonna move over to where they have some recliners. You see at this particular RV show, 2025, I would say, is the year of grayish. There is a lot of gray, beige mixture in all of the RVs, and I'm here for it. I actually think it's really, really pretty instead of it just being like a stark black and white or just totally really deep dark browns. So we've got these beautiful recliners. Very nice, very comfortable. I am not a fan of cloth furniture. Let us know in the comments down below, are you? I find that we just do better when it's not a cloth.
I will also say manual recliner, having experienced both manual and having the electric recliner in our Grand Design that we did literally 2 months before selling it.
Right.
I like manual better.
Me too.
The electric was a pain. Every time you want to get out, you have to sit there and wait for the motor, and it's another thing to break.
Well, and you see my hand is just naturally like going in this area. When we had like the electric, we were constantly like accidentally turning things on. So you do have a little rest right here. You don't have it on that side. I kind of wish there was a plug-in because this is definitely going to be an area where I'm just like sitting and plugging in my phone. I do see the light switch is over there though. Then you have this this nice flooring. Over on this side is your kitchen. You've got a beautiful sink, very deep, nice sink, and I really like the faucet here. Let's take a look at the cabinetry. Lots of nice cabinetry. It's a little bit tall, I'm gonna say, even for me, but it's nice cabinetry. Yeah, this would be a little bit challenging for me to use that, but that's okay. Then you've got a microwave, you've got your vent, you have the 3-burner Furrion. This is the Easy Bake Oven, but a lot of the units have that, so I'm not upset about it. You've got 4 drawers right here, which is nice. They're not very deep when you consider that this is a kitchen. I might have like changed over to 3 drawers or 2 drawers instead of the 4, but you do have a drawer there. And let's see what the under sink storage looks like. Very nice. You've got
very expensive garbage can.
You've got a very expensive garbage can. Okay, so moving down over here, we have a lot of nice space on top of here as far as countertops go, but I will say they're not solid surface. This is gonna be the thermofoil surface, so you've gotta be careful. You can't put hot plates or anything like that on those. But I do like having this little kind of corner unit so that you have some more storage space here. And that is beneath this really nicely placed television, especially since I'm sure it's on an arm and you can kind of swivel it and be able to see it from the recliners and also the dinette.
Now, I am going to say, as far as those televisions, this is what I'm going to call the neck breaker television. So I'm currently right now sitting on the sofa, and I literally have to like tilt my head up to look at it. So I feel like if we're sitting here, especially, I've got my backpack on, but if I go ahead and recline and come like this, I mean, yeah, my neck is sort of supported, but I'm like looking up and I kind of want to like look like this. You know, if I'm sitting like this, I want to be able to look straight ahead and not have to tilt my head up and arch my neck to look at the television. It's a small little thing, but it is something to consider.
Joe, it's weird how much you notice now that we live in the RV versus just vacationing in the RV. So here we go. We're next to the refrigerator, nice Furrion refrigerator.
Pretty much the same one we have, doors just opening the opposite way. Now, I will say, because we basically have the same refrigerator, not a big fan of the glass door.
Yeah.
First of all, we actually had an issue with ours, and it turned out to be just like a bad wire somewhere. But Furrion sent us a brand new refrigerator because that's what Furrion does.
Yes.
If there's a problem with it, they don't actually send you a part. they send you a whole new refrigerator.
Really appreciate that.
The second one that came, the glass door was shattered. It is tempered glass, but then they had to send another one because, again, they don't replace just the door.
Right.
Not a big fan of it. Also, we like putting magnets on our refrigerators, and you can't do that with us.
Yeah. So next to the refrigerator is this nice pantry area. Definitely much needed storage, because a fifth wheel really suggests that you're going to either stay longer someplace or you're going to have more guests, right? So you definitely need some extra pantry storage.
Now, one thing we did miss is there is some more storage up here over the dinette. And so you have 4 bays here. One thing I'm going to notice right away, no struts on these, and it's kind of high up. So like having to hold this up while putting something in there, it's almost going to be a 2-person job. Coming along while we're up here in the ceiling, we do have a ducted AC. We also have some speakers for Bluetooth. So there's, looks like 4 ducts in here. So over here, we do have our AC. I can't tell what brand it is. I'm looking for the thermostat. I have a feeling it's the new Furrion.
It is a
and
Furrion.
Yes, it is the Furrion. Interesting placement right here for all of your tank sensors.
Yes.
And then we also have a couple of light switches.
I don't think that we actually mentioned that the Arcadia is a Keystone RV. So if you're just looking for the manufacturer, it's Keystone. So you're going to come up these stairs, and here is your bedroom, and then here is the entrance to your bathroom. I do appreciate that they don't have doors that are going to try to fight with one another. This one is a sliding door, and I really appreciate that. So this looks very similar to the bathroom in our Delta. So you've got a nice high shower, plenty of room for Joe, who's 6 feet tall. And then over here, you have your sink. Let's take a look at some of that storage. 3 drawers there.
And again, we do not have solid surface in here.
No, you don't. Here is the controls for your water heater. You've got a nice plug there. There is your light switch. And then over here, you have the opening to your medicine cabinet. Good news, the toilet is not plastic, and it has a decent pooping position, as Matt would point to. Plenty of room for you to use the bathroom with the door closed. Welcome to the bedroom. So I'm not a huge fan of this door, Joe. I know that you don't want it swinging in because you're going to lose space in your bedroom, but I don't know. I feel like we're going to fight this door.
Well, a couple things. First of all, I'm already noticing right here. So we've got some delamination on whatever the sticker is right here.
Yeah.
On this piece, you can see it right here. So
bubbling.
Not the greatest. So obviously there's another one down here, and then another one down here. So not the greatest quality.
And if you saw our interview with Matt, you know that just like he said, quality equals price.
Now, the other thing I am noticing with this door, though, is see how, because we're probably parked on an angle, it's just swinging. There is nothing over here to hold the door open. They need to have some kind of a magnet or something that's going to grab this door handle and hold it in the open position, unless you plan on always having it closed, but that's going to affect your air conditioning.
We live in Florida and it can get really hot. So a lot of times we will not use all of our air conditioning systems. Like there's another unit in here. So I am not going to turn on this one during the day if we are going to be primarily in the living room. But that means that on those hot summer nights, it's going to be scorching by the time we're ready to come to bed and turn that AC on. Now I will notice right away that I had to do another step up on my side of the bed. Let me see if that's the case on this side as well. Yeah, there's like a step up. I can see where that could be a little bit problematic if I forget and I am trying to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night and not quite totally awake. I can see myself tripping on that.
It's probably to give you more of a basement storage.
Right. So I was expecting this to have a little bit of storage. It does not, but there is storage over the top of the bed. Some over here. I do appreciate that even if there isn't like storage underneath this, like we are so used to in our Delta, at least there is a countertop. I've been seeing a lot of units at this RV show where there is just nothing to put your, you know, charger for your phone on or anything. So I'm really glad to see that at least in this kind of side table, you do have some counter space, because I do like to have something right next to the bed, even like a glass of water, right? So you do have plugs over here and plugs over there.
I would like to see some USB outlets over there. There is one straight there in the middle, but it would be nice if you had one right next to that outlet or incorporate a USB into that outlet, especially considering looking at those, it looks like it's just two USB-A's and pretty much everything's going USB-C. At least have a USB-A and then a USB-C.
So let's take a look at the under bed storage. What are we dealing with? Nice.
Decent amount of storage in there.
Nice amount of storage. Yeah, like it.
And then while we're down there, obviously because it is a fifth wheel, we do have our heat coming through the floor up here.
This looks like our clothes, like our armoire that's built in cabinetry. It doesn't look like there's any prep for a washer and dryer, at least with this one, but this does have a nice amount of storage. Not thrilled about this right here.
Definitely don't like that, which means it's definitely not washer dryer available.
Yeah, exactly, because you're not going to be able to put the washer and dryer in here. But this, I can see this being aggravating to me. But I know it's trying to give some stability to the cabinet. So you've got 3 drawers. This one is going to be a little bit annoying because it is so low.
And then over here, we do have a place to mount our television. Here's our cable satellite. Here's our outlets. And there are ducts for the AC, assumably coming out of the living area. One thing I'm going to say right off the bat, I am 6 foot tall. I'm standing up on that little step up, and already my head is hitting the ceiling here, and I'm not even close to the cabinets over there. So as I walk in, I'm going to have to duck down a lot to get in here. And I can see, like here, if I sit up, okay, and this happens to me a lot, but watch this. I'm going to stand up, and
yeah,
that's going to happen to me
daily,
every single day. That hurt. That really hurt because a little knob on my hat just dug into my head. But that's going to happen every day. Like, there is not enough headroom in this bedroom space for me. Okay, let's take a look here at the outside. We're going to start right up here in the front. Almost hit my head on the awning. It's not that it's always like this. It's just that it's not fully extended because obviously we're at an RV show. So right over here, we do have a 30-pound propane canister right there. That's really nice. And then over here, we do have our bay. And so it looks like we do have some heat coming into the bay. That is awesome, the fact that we have heat coming into the bay. So you can keep this warm. A nice little plastic tray here if you have any kind of water or anything leaking at your doors or anything like that. Over here, we have our furnace and our hot water heater. Little pet peeve of mine, I don't like this on the campsite because if you're sitting out here and these come on, especially in Florida with your hot water heater, that's going to be blowing this air out here. I prefer it over on the non-campsite, but that, like I said, it's a ticky-tack thing. It's a personal preference. It's nice when they're on the other side, but sometimes that just doesn't work. We do have satellite in and cable in over here, as well as an outlet. Coming up here, it looks like our pin is going to be a road armor. It's from Lippert. Come down here, we have a little place for tying up our dog. Coming down here, let's see, we have spare tire up in here. Oof, not a huge fan of that because you're taking away from my battery bank and putting in my solar. Obviously, for battery, we have a place right here. It does have ducting if you're using lead acid batteries. However, as I've stated in numerous videos, don't go lead acid. Don't let the dealer sell you a lead acid. Bring your own lithium iron phosphate. Couple things about that, as I've mentioned in other videos. Lithium iron phosphate's safer. It doesn't catch fire. It doesn't explode. It is lighter, and you're going to get twice as much. So 2 100 amp hour lead acid batteries is equal to a single 100 amp hour lithium. You don't have to vent them out. You can put them under your bed, wherever you want to put them. You don't have to go with a ridiculous system like mine. You can just get a couple of 100 amp hour batteries, and you can get them for a couple $100 a piece now on Amazon. And the nice thing about having it, you know, that way is, like I said, lighter, safer, but also lasts longer. Average lead acid battery is going to last you 2 to 3 years. Lithium, even the cheap ones, are going to go 5 years, 10 years. So much better. In the end, you save money with lithium iron phosphate. Moving over here, we do have a Victron charge controller, so it's nice that they're using Victron there. We have tire link prep. Here's our solar panel disconnect. And then here is our battery stuff. Coming over here on the other side, we do have another 30-pound propane. And then again, we have some access over here for our pass-through. Over here, we have our wet bay. I was about to say, I wish the wet bay was inside. I actually like this. I like the fact that it's actually separated. It gives you more room in your pass-through. Over here, we're gonna have our satellite in, cable in here. So the other side is probably satellite out and cable out. So we have a place for our city water, black tank flush. Here's our black tank and our gray tank. And here is all of our control. Obviously, it does come with a little port there and a little place to run all of our hoses up. And then over here, we do have a slide. One thing I'm gonna say about the slide is this is gonna be a cable slide system. Not sure which one they're using. I'm sure it's a bow system. I'll have to take a look at that. However, it is a cable slide. It's not through the frame. Personally, I'd prefer a cable slide system over a Schwintek. But for me, the best is going to always be having that through the frame rack and pinion slide. In the back here, we do have a receiver hitch, place for having our 4-pin, and then here is our 50 amp coming in. I actually do really like the 50 amp in the back as opposed to being way up in the front. So it's nice that it is back here. The only problem is sometimes the pillar's up to the front and you might need an extension. And then over here, this is very interesting. They have a slide extender right here. So, you know, similar to Alliance that puts it in the pass-through bay, it is nice to see that they are at least putting it, you can be here, you plug in, stand right here, and watch that slide come in and out. So that's a nice little feature. Windows up here, by the way, are the frameless windows. I actually like them. They look nice and pretty. Coming over here, this is the thing that's gonna really matter. Can we tow this with our RV? We have an unloaded vehicle weight of 7,360 pounds. Don't really care about that. GVWR of 9,900 pounds. So a couple thousand pounds or more actually of having our payload. Then we've got 4,400 pound axles. If we take a look at 9,900 pound, let's make it an even 10,000 pound. Go worst case scenario, 20% pin weight. That's gonna be 2,000 pounds of pin weight. Like I said, we have a 3,000 pound just over that cargo capacity. So this is definitely towable by our truck. Let's take a look at a couple of specs and go over our like and dislike. Okay, before we get into the like and dislike, let's go over a few specs. So first of all, like I said, we said the weight. We have the cargo capacity is actually 2,625 pounds. It has, they're claiming, again, this is what we're talking about, they're claiming a hitch weight of 1,430 pounds, but that's gonna be based on dry. We're not gonna go by dry, we're gonna go by what our GBWR is. So again, 20% of your GBWR is what you should use. 54-gallon freshwater tank, 30-gallon wastewater. Oof, that's a bit small. 30 gallons of poop and pee. We're gonna fill that up pretty quickly. 60-gallon gray water tank. Overall length, 29 feet, 3 inches. So we are in that sub 35 foot, 8 feet wide. So it's you know, a standard 8 foot wide. It's not one of those nice big 100-inch wide ones. 12 foot, 6 inches tall. So that is nice. That's kind of short for a fifth wheel. We're right now at about 11 foot, 4 inches. A lot of the fifth wheels we're looking at are at that 13.3. So that is a nice height, a little bit more that you can deal with. And again, we did mention an awning. It is a 20-foot long awning. Price-wise, this comes in at an MSRP of $55,000.
Wow. That's awesome.
With an MSRP here at the show of, what was it, $39,900.
And that brings us to our likes and dislikes. And I'm going to say right now, my like is that the price point. The fact that you can get into a fifth wheel without it being an arm and a leg, I think that the value here is really amazing.
So I'm going to tell you that is less money than we paid for our Alliance Delta 294RK, which is going to be the same length. So price is definitely a good positive. What am I going to do as my positive? The inside layout here in the living area is pretty nice. I feel like they're utilizing the space very well. The way where our thing is, the fact that where our chairs are here, the dinette area, the fact that we could turn that into an office, it does have a nice pass through. And I guess my biggest like is going to be the fact that that Nautilus panel is on the outside. It's still enclosed, but it's
Right.
not taking up the bay. And a little extra one in there. I like the little feature because I'm so used to it with our Alliance of having the slide control right over there. Dislike.
My dislike is going to accompany my like, and that is because the price point is so low, the quality is just not there for me. I am afraid that we are not delicate enough, especially when I think about it. This is not, when we used to weekend warrior, we vacationed, like once a month, twice a month. Now we use our RV so much more. I mean, now we use it every day.
We travel more. When we first got into RVing, we weren't living in the state of Florida. We've done 2 trips to Elkhart.
Right.
In the last 7 months. We've gone to New York. We've gone to Pennsylvania. We are planning a trip to Tennessee this year. 1, possibly 2 trips back up to Elkhart. 1 definitely for the Alliance RV Rally. Probably a trip to New York. There in the cards might be a trip to Texas. And so that's going to be a big deal for us.
I'm afraid we're just too rough for it.
Okay, so that was a good dislike for me because I was going to mention thermofoil countertops and things like that, which it's not huge. We have that now. But just looking at that door and with all the bubbling on there, that concerns me. Here's going to be my dislike, and this is going to be the dislike that absolutely rules this RV out for us. Now, this is not for everybody. This is my biggest dislike, and that is the steps to the bedroom are on this side of the RV. Door is on that side, steps are on this side, which means when the slide closes in, you will have no access to bedroom or bathroom. For us, an absolute must, as our good friend Josh, the RV nerd, says, road mode.
Road mode.
In road mode, I need at minimum, I need access to bedroom and bathroom.
Right, the toilet.
Let us know down in the comment section what your thoughts on this RV are. Again, for the price, I think you're getting a lot. It's just not going to work for us. So let us know down in the comment section, what are your likes and dislikes on this coach? Now, if you like seeing videos like this, please do us a favor, hit that like button down below. That does 2 things. Number 1, it is going to let us know what kind of videos you guys are looking to see, and it also does help build our channel.
And don't forget to hit the little bell button, and that way every single time we upload a new video, you'll be alerted to it.
Till next time, happy camping.